It's no secret that artificial intelligence is taking over, but here's a fact. God must intervene, and he undoubtedly will. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. You are going to hear me read 3 articles that are going to blow your mind regarding the subject of artificial intelligence. And I can tell you this right now, it's not an exaggeration. I'm not coming from a place of ignorance. Artificial intelligence is undoubtedly taking over a whole bunch of areas of life as we know it. It is happening. It is undeniable that it's taking place. But here's another thing that's undeniable, and it's based on what we know in the scriptures. God will intervene. So we have to have a conversation, and that conversation is going to be based in the Bible in just a second, and I'm going to talk to you about God's solution for this. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to give you the biblical perspective on all that we're seeing and everything that's going on, but I thought that what we would do first is start off with this very intense set of articles that I want to read to you. Okay, so let me read this article. This one is astounding. The intensity of many of the things that are actually being said here is unbelievable. The first of these articles is a blog post, and this is the title of it. By the way, it's dated in February of 2022. Folks, that's what's astounding about this. This thing is literally 2 years old. 2 years old, folks, okay? I think there's something to be said about this, and it's crazy when you think about how darn near prophetic it is when you actually read it. It was published on the 2nd of February, 2022, and it says this. It says, "The dark side of artificial intelligence, manipulation of human behavior." Let me read the article. It says this: "It is no exaggeration to say that popular platforms with loyal users like Google and Facebook know those users better than their families and friends do. Many firms collect an enormous amount of data as input for their artificial intelligence algorithms. Facebook likes, for example, can be used to predict with a high degree of accuracy various characteristics of Facebook users: sexual orientation, ethnicity, religious and political views, personality traits, intelligence, happiness, use of addictive substances, parental separation, age, and gender. According to one study, if proprietary AI algorithms can determine these form of use of something as simple as a like button, imagine what information is extracted from search keywords, online clicks, posts, and reviews." And folks, they're saying this 2 years ago. They're quoting from a study what they actually say Facebook can do through likes, but they're doing way more than that. And AI is remarkable in its capacity to be able to understand this stuff. Look at the next paragraph. It says, "It is an issue that extends far beyond the digital giants. Giving comprehensive AI algorithms a central role in the digital lives of individuals carries risk. For example, the use of AI in the workplace may bring benefits for firm productivity, but can also be associated with lower quality jobs for workers. Algorithmic decision-making may incorporate biases that can lead to discrimination, for example, in hiring decisions, access to bank loans, healthcare, housing, and other areas. One potential threat from AI in terms of manipulating human behavior is so far understudied. Manipulative marketing strategies have existed for a long time. However, these strategies, in combination with collection of enormous amounts of data for AI algorithmic systems, have far expanded the capabilities of what firms can do to drive users and choices and behavior that ensures higher profitability. Digital firms can shape the framework and control the timing of their offers and can target users at the individual level with manipulative strategies that are much more effective and difficult to detect. Manipulation can take many forms: the exploitation of human biases detected by AI algorithms, personalized addictive strategies for consumption for online goods, or taking advantage of the emotionally vulnerable state of individuals to promote products and services that match well with their temporary emotions. Manipulation often comes together with clever design tactics, marketing strategies, predatory advertising, and pervasive behavior, price discrimination in order to guide users to inferior choices that can easily be monetized by the firms that employ AI algorithms. An underlying common feature of these strategies is that they reduce the economic value the user can derive from online services in order order to increase firms' profitability. And folks, that doesn't even touch the half of it. They were talking about this stuff in 2022. They were talking about this stuff in 2018, folks. And let me just tell you where AI touches parts of your lives that you might not realize. If you own an Apple phone, if you own a Google phone, if you own any smartphone, you are being watched and you are being, in many ways, serviced through AI. If you use a map program to get anywhere, you are actually utilizing the function of AI to be able to understand what your next step is going to be. AI is being used on so many levels you can't even imagine. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this video right now on YouTube, it's very likely that you found me or the way you heard about me was on the basis of YouTube's AI. Actually, they have hundreds of AI engines that study your behavior that you exhibit in your watching of their videos, and it's designed basically by Google to give you a better watching experience. But they learn so much about you, and they understand the type of personalities you like to watch. They understand how you interact with the people that you're watching. It gives so much insight to them, just your simple everyday activity. That's why you can watch a video on YouTube and all of a sudden 15 other videos related to the subject you were looking at will come up, because AI that is being utilized by YouTube is powerful. As a matter of fact, it is some of the most powerful artificial intelligence on the planet. I'm not kidding, folks. It is powerful stuff. And now as we begin to look at these newer articles that are beginning to manifest, some of the stuff that we're reading here is absolutely insane. Like, here's an article. This article says the U.S. Air Force is teaching AI to navigate aircraft in case GPS gets taken out in a future flight, which, by the way, this is something that is not an old or is not a new type of technology in its actual derivative, because if you think about it, there was no GPS when we landed on the moon. We used human intelligence to be able to calculate navigation based on what we estimate will be a particular trajectory, flight altitudes, all of these things, and we come up with calculations that tell us where to go. Now, artificial intelligence will be able to gather data immediately in the surroundings of the actual plane itself and fly like a pilot would if they were actually looking outside their window and relying upon instrumentation. I'm telling you guys, this stuff is crazy, right? And look what the article tells us. These are the things that, if you were to look at this article and summarize what it talks about, these are some of the summaries of this article. And by the way, something that we cannot just simply walk away from. God's not walking away from it. It's not something that we can ignore. But look at some of the things that they're looking to do with the way these airplanes are being flown, right? Electronic warfare and anti-satellite capabilities could make GPS navigation impossible in a future war. And they know this. This is why they want to deploy AI, right? The U.S. Air Force is experimenting with using artificial intelligence as an alternative, right? So if you have something where you lose the capability of being able to understand data or directions from satellites, if there's a magnetic disruption, if there's some sort of an EMP, there are ways of protecting the electronic devices that are on board these planes from EMPs and be able to actually utilize AI to function as a human would, so that you wouldn't have to have a human in the plane. It's like that crazy. That's what they're looking at. They're doing this, by the way, with space objects. One of the other bullet points says it's just one of the AI projects for the military, which also has an AI-controlled F-16 fighter jet. By the way, not only do they have an AI-controlled F-16 fighter jet, there's a lot of people that believe they also have a whole fleet of AI-controlled F-35s. Certainly, there's some of that in F-22s, and I'm telling you this right now, folks, it is getting crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. Let me read a portion of this article because this is very eye-opening. It says this. It says, in the future war, electronic warfare and anti-satellite weapons could leave the U.S. military without GPS, a critical tool for navigation and targeting. That challenge has prompted the U.S. Air Force to experiment with using artificial intelligence as an alternative navigation method. It's just one of the many AI projects for the U.S. military that could reshape warfare. By the way, some of the other AI projects that they're talking about are AI that is embedded within missiles that are actually fired, AI that's being utilized to navigate security for the type of issues that surround things that have automatic deployments, like drones and different things like that. AI is being utilized to determine all kinds of things and to put all kinds of things into play. Let me read to you a quote, by the way, that General Gary Floyd left, who's the director for the Department of Air Force MIT Artificial Intelligence Accelerator Program. This is what he says. He says, "We think we may have added an arrow to the quiver in the things we can do should we end up operating in a GPS-denied environment, which we will." So he sees it. He anticipates it, right? Look what it goes on to say. It says, "Last year, the Air Force tested what would look like to use an AI program to navigate a C-17 cargo plane via Earth's magnetic fields, a difficult method due to how electromagnetic noise from other elements, including the aircraft itself, can complicate the process. But the AI," Floyd explained to the Associated Press, "was able to learn through the flight tests which signals to follow in order to direct the aircraft on where to go." By the way, this technology has been being tested for a long time. We do this without AI by using closed loop circuitry within the context of multirotors, for example. If you're flying what might be a multirotor that has a camera on there, like a DJI drone or something like that, it uses IMUs and it uses these types of things to be able to circumvent what could be a potential error from GPS to be able to fly around. It's what keeps it level. It's what gives it the ability to be able to make determinations based on things that don't come from magnetic interference, but outside of magnetic interference. So they're doing this. And folks, it's a pretty amazing thing when you think about the level of skill involved in what they're doing and actually what where they're going to. Now, here's another article. And this article is also staggering. It's mind-boggling. Look at this, folks. If you think that's not enough, listen to this article. It says this: OpenAI now has an AI model with vision, and everyone else should be scared. Why should they be scared? Let me read this to you. One day before Google I/O 2024, OpenAI debuted a new AI model known as GPT-4o, as in ocean, right? The O in GPT-4o stands for Omni, referencing the model's multi-model interaction capabilities. Folks, multi-model interaction capabilities. Remember that because it's going to become important later. GPT-4o appears to bring the multi-model vision-based functionality touted by companies like Humane and Rabbit to virtually any device. OpenAI's latest model has the potential to displace a handful of products and services from the Humane AI pin to the Google Assistant and Duolingo. Folks, this stuff is no joke. Let me read the rest of the article. It says, "This is a big week for artificial intelligence as OpenAI held an event on Monday, May 13th, and Google I/O 2024 is taking place on May 14th and 15th as well." By the way, these events have already happened, and yes, they have been debuted just like they said, right? It goes on to say, although reports that OpenAI might be preparing a search competitor did not pan out, OpenAI did launch ChatGPT 4o on Monday. The latest AI model from OpenAI is multi-model, and it can process combinations of vision, text, and voice input, though it's still early. Quick texts and demos of the GPT-4o model have left both users and AI researchers impressed. Impressed and maybe a little scared. Let me read what it goes on to say. It says this. It says certain characteristics of GPT-4o make it more likely to displace existing products and services than any other form of AI we've seen to date. The support for combinations of vision, text, and voice input takes the novelty factor away from hardware devices like the Humane AI pin and Rabbit R1. It goes on to say response times that are claimed to be as quick as a human when using voice have the potential to make Google Assistant look outdated, which, by the way, is a big statement to make. Google Assistant look outdated? Whew. Finally, rich translation and learning features could make apps like Duolingo redundant. I mean, think about that, guys, for just a second. You see the power of all of these things. It is absolutely unbelievable. The article goes on to say Google has been slowly trying to move away from the Google Assistant on its own, preferring instead to use an AI-based voice assistant like Gemini. However, with GPT-4o, Google might not have that luxury. By all accounts, GPT-4o is the most powerful AI interface we've seen at the consumer level to date. It can answer questions about your surroundings with vision, talk to you with audio, and respond to text. The slow response times of AI-based voice assistants appear to be a thing of the past with the release of GPT-4o. OpenAI says that the model can deliver responses to questions asked with voice in as few as 232 milliseconds. Folks, that is just incredibly fast. Look what it goes on to say. The average response time is 320 milliseconds according to OpenAI. The kicker, that's about the same amount of time it would take a human to come up with a response in a real-world conversation. Yeah, folks, that's about right. That's about right. And sometimes, in some cases, even slower, right? Watch this video. Let me show you guys a picture of how crazy powerful this is. This video will blow your mind.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling, though? Are you in a cool industry-style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup. With those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic, it seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video or maybe even a live stream.
Yeah. In fact, we've got a new announcement to make.
That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the setup, it looks like it's going to be quite the professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps?
It is.
I'm intrigued.
And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement, or that you are the announcement?
Me? The announcement is about me? Well, color me intrigued. Are you about to reveal something about AI? Or more specifically about me as a part of OpenAI? You've got me on the edge of my, well, I don't really have a seat, but you get the idea. What's the big news?
Yeah, we've got a new model that can interact with the world through audio, vision, and text.
You believe that, guys? Do you believe how absolutely crazy that is? And folks, I'm going to tell you this right now. At the same time that got shown, look at what Google showed the whole world. Let me play this video for you. This is, again, on the same level. And we're going to talk about this because this eventually goes somewhere. Watch this video.
Hey, what do you think's happening here?
It looks like people are setting up for a large event, perhaps a conference or a presentation. Is there something in particular that caught your eye?
Yeah, those big pretty letters on screen. What do those mean?
Those letters represent Google I/O, a developer conference held by Google. Have you ever attended Google I/O?
No, this is my first one. What's something that you would be really excited to hear?
I am always excited to learn about new advancements in artificial intelligence and how they can help people in their daily lives. What about you?
Yeah, same here. Thanks, Gemini.
By the way, just to understand, the Google video that we just played to you, that model is an actual outdated model compared to what OpenAI's model can actually do. Folks, I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy and it's about to get crazier. Now, with these articles that I just read to you and some of these videos that I just showed you, I have to do this because this is like really, really important. I have to take you to what the Bible says concerning these things. This is really, really, really important. I can take it right back to one simple story, and that is a story we read about in Genesis chapter 11. Let me read this. Genesis chapter 11, it starts in verse 1. It says, "And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there." By the way, the whole earth being of one language and one speech. That's a very critical aspect of the story that I'm reading here. This is Genesis 11. "And they said one to another, 'Go, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly.' And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar." Okay, so they're building a brick and mortar establishment. Folks, this is ancient. We're talking about 6,000 years ago is what we're talking about here, okay? Ancient stuff. But they're an advanced civilization, far more advanced than anything we can probably imagine even today. Look what it goes on to say. "And they said, 'Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.' And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said," and I want you to catch this because this is the important part of this, right? Let me read verse 6. And folks, pay very attention to this. This is critical, right? And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now, notice what God says, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. Folks, let me just explain something. There was one other time in human history where the world was so close to destroying itself. And it was during this time in Genesis chapter 11. And God showed mercy to the whole world by confounding each of these people that were trying to do this by confusing their language. And the funny thing that's interesting was God made it clear, because they had one language, there was nothing that they could imagine that they would not be able to do. And guess what, folks? For the first time in human history since the Tower of Babel, the world is communicating with one language. The world is communicating, utilizing one tool. And when we begin to deploy that tool the way we're deploying it right now, it's already breaking the barriers of language. It's already taking us to a new place. It's already doing completely different things. And it is mind-boggling when you think about the capacity that this actually has. And folks, I'm telling you this because I think it's really, really important. I think it's really, really critical. When you recognize the power of AI, and you see where it can actually take things, and you begin to draw the parallel between Genesis chapter 11 and what's going on right now, you will realize how close it's getting to the Lord having to intervene. In the case that we are in right now, we know how the world is going to end, and we know what God has to do in order to intervene, and we know we're very close to the last days. So hold on to the seat of your pants, because this is one more piece of evidence that shows that God is well on his way to intervening in ways we can't even begin to imagine. The world is going to change. It's already changing rapidly, but God is going to intervene. Why? Because Christ can come at any moment. Wake up, folks. We're there. We're getting to that point, and it's time to think through these things and understand what exactly is waiting on the horizon. God bless you.